My name is Martha Higgins. I'm 72 years old, and I need to tell you about the day I found myself lying on my own kitchen floor, staring at a dried pea under the refrigerator. I didn't trip. I didn't slip on water. I just stopped. I had turned from the sink to the stove, a turn I have made 10,000 times in 40 years, and my left knee just gave up. It didn't pop. It just quit, like a hinge that rusted through. I went down hard. My hip hit the linoleum. The pot I was holding clambered across the floor. And in the silence that followed, I realized something that made my blood run cold. I couldn't get up. I tried to pull my leg under me, and the pain was so sharp, so blinding, it took my breath away. I lay there for 20 minutes waiting for the pain to stop screaming. 20 minutes, wondering if this was it. If this was the end of Martha the independent woman and the beginning of Martha the burden. If you are watching this right now and you have that dull ache when it rains, or that sharp stab when you climb the stairs, or you find yourself gripping the railing a little tighter than you used to, listen to me. I was you. I ignored it for 2 years. And because I ignored it, I lost nearly everything I loved. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. I had a good life, a busy life. I was a school teacher for 35 years, so I was used to being on my feet. I didn't sit down. Sitting down was for old people, and I didn't feel old. My pride and joy wasn't the house. It was the backyard. Every spring, I planted a vegetable garden that would make a farmer jealous. Tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, and my grandson, Leo, he was my little shadow. Leo is 7, and every Saturday morning, at 8 a.m. sharp, he'd come bursting through my back screen door yelling, "Grandma, are the worms awake yet?" We spent hours on our knees in that dirt, weeding, planting. I had this foam pad, a blue one bitten up around the edges. I'd throw it down, drop to my knees, and work for 3 hours without thinking twice. I didn't know it then, but that blue foam pad was about to become a memory. There were signs, of course. There are always signs. I started taking the elevator at the library instead of the stairs, just to save time. I told myself. I started getting out of the car differently, swinging both legs out first, grabbing the door frame, and hoisting myself up. I didn't tell my daughter. I didn't tell my friends. I told myself, "Martha, you're 70. This is just how it is. Your father had bad knees. Your mother had bad knees. It's the family curse." I thought I was being tough. I thought I was just pushing through. But looking back, I wasn't being tough. I was being blind. The real trouble started in October. I was walking down the basement stairs with a basket of laundry. Just a small basket. I took the 3rd step and I felt a grinding sound. Not a pop. A grind. Like 2 stones rubbing together inside my kneecap. I grabbed the railing so hard I broke a fingernail. I stood there, heart hammering, waiting for it to pass. That night, I went to the pharmacy. I stood in the aisle for 20 minutes reading boxes. I bought the strongest arthritis cream they had. I bought a bottle of glucosamine. And I bought one of those copper compression sleeves I saw on TV. I went home, pulled that sleeve onto my knee, and felt better immediately. Not because the pain was gone, but because I felt like I had done something. I told myself, it's just arthritis. It's bone on bone. It happens to everyone. For 6 weeks, I wore that sleeve every day. I smelled like menthol cream. I swallowed those horse pills. But here is the thing about treating the wrong problem. It doesn't just fail to work, it lets the real enemy get stronger. My knee didn't get better. It got stiffer. I started walking with a limp. A hitch in my giddy-up, my husband would have called it. Leo noticed. Kids always notice. One Saturday, he ran to the back door with his boots on. He looked at me and said, "Grandma, aren't you coming?" I looked at him. Then I looked at the garden, which was starting to overgrow with weeds. I lied to him. I said, "Not today, Leo. Grandma has a headache." I watched him go out there alone, kicking at the dirt, and that hurt more than the grinding in my leg. I was treating arthritis. I was treating the joint. But as I found out later, my joint was the victim. The criminal was hiding somewhere else entirely. Then came the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I needed the big roasting pan from the bottom cabinet. The heavy one. I squatted down to get it. I grabbed the handle. And when I tried to stand up, my legs just said no. That was the moment I told you about. The moment on the floor. I had to crawl to the living room to get my phone. I called my daughter, Sarah. I was weeping, not from pain, but from shame. She took me to Dr. Evans the next morning. I sat on that crinkly paper table, legs dangling, feeling like a child. Dr. Evans looked at my x-rays. Then he did something strange. He didn't touch my knees. He asked me to lie on my side. He asked me to lift my leg in the air. I tried. I really tried. But my leg felt like lead. It shook. It barely moved 3 inches. He looked at me and said 5 words that changed everything. He said, "Martha, your glutes are asleep." I looked at him like he was crazy. My glutes? My rear end? "Doctor, my knee hurts." He pulled up a chart on the wall. He pointed to the hip, then the thigh, then the knee. He said, "Think of your leg like a train track. Your hip is the engine. Your knee is just the passenger car. Your engine, your hips, and your glutes have stopped working. They are weak. So your knees are doing all the work. They are taking 100% of the pressure with 0% of the support." He said, "You don't have severe arthritis, Martha. You have patellofemoral pain syndrome caused by muscular atrophy. Your knees aren't broken. They're exhausted." I was stunned. All those years of sitting, of taking it easy, thinking I was saving my knees, I was actually starving them of the support they needed. He told me something else. He said, "If we don't fix this engine, you'll be looking at a knee replacement in 2 years. And even that won't fix the pain because the muscles will still be weak." I left that office with a prescription, not for pills, but for physical therapy. I wish I could tell you I walked out of there and started doing squats. I didn't. I was scared. The pain was still there, sharp and angry. And the first week of physical therapy, it was a disaster. They gave me a sheet of exercises. Leg lifts, they said. Clamshells. I went home. I got on the floor. And I couldn't do them. It hurt. My hip cramped. My knee clicked. I lay on my carpet and thought, Dr. Evans is wrong. He's young. He doesn't know what 72 feels like. I stopped doing the exercises after 3 days. I went back to the rest method. I sat in my chair. I watched TV. And I watched my world shrink. Christmas came. I didn't cook. I sat on the sofa while my daughter made the turkey. Leo brought me a gift. It was a drawing. It was a picture of me and him in the garden. He had drawn me with a walking stick. He said, "This is for when your legs work again, Grandma." When, not if. That night, I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. I looked old, not because of my gray hair, but because of the fear in my eyes. I realized I was making a choice. I could choose the chair and slowly disappear, or I could choose the pain of getting stronger. I realized that resting was actually rusting. I called the clinic the next morning. I told them, "I need help, and I need someone who won't let me quit." That's when I met Jason. I expected a doctor. I got a 28-year-old kid in a polo shirt who looked like he belonged on a football field. I told him, "Jason, be gentle. I'm 72. He smiled and said, "Martha, muscles don't know how old they are. They only know if you use them or not." He didn't give me 20 exercises. He gave me 4. He said, "These are the 4 things that will wake up your engine." Now, I am not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you exactly what he taught me, because these 4 movements saved my life. Number 1 was the quad set. Jason had me sit on the table with my legs straight out. He put a rolled up towel under my knee. He said, "Smash the towel." I had to tighten my thigh muscle to push my knee down. It looked like I was doing nothing, but my leg shook. "Hold it for 5 seconds, he said. "Do it 10 times. It woke up the muscle on the front of my thigh, the one that acts like a brake for the knee. Number 2 was the straight leg raise. This was the hardest. Lying on my back, one leg bent, lifting the bad leg up just to the height of the other knee. The first time, I couldn't lift it an inch. Jason didn't help me. He waited. "Come on, Martha. Find the muscle. When I finally lifted it just 2 inches, I felt a burn in my hip I hadn't felt in years. Number 3 was the clamshell. Lying on my side, knees bent, keeping my feet touching and opening my knees like a clam. This targets the glute medius, the side hip muscle. This was the secret weapon. This was the muscle that stops the knee from caving in. And number 4, the big one. The sit to stand. Jason made me sit in a chair. Without using my hands, I had to stand up, then sit down. Slow. Don't plop, he said. Control it. Up, down, up, down. My legs burned. My heart raced. I did these every single morning. Before coffee. Before the news. Week 1, I hated it. Week 2, I tolerated it. Week 3, I noticed something strange. I was brushing my teeth and I dropped the cap to the toothpaste. Without thinking, I squatted down, picked it up, and stood up. I froze. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't grab the sink. I didn't groan. I just did it. I touched my knee. It was still there. But the grinding? It was quieter. The rusted hinge was getting some oil. It took 3 months. It wasn't magic. It was work. Boring, repetitive work. But then came April. The ground was thawing. The smell of wet earth was in the air. Leo came over on a Saturday. He didn't ask about the worms. He just sat at the kitchen table. I walked over to the closet. I pulled out the blue foam pad, the one with the bite marks. I tossed it onto the floor by the back door. I said, "Well, are we planting these tomatoes or not?" Leo's eyes went wide. We went out there. I threw the pad down, and I did the scariest thing I've done in years. I knelt down, all the way down. My knees complained a little. They aren't 20 anymore, but they held me. My hips were strong. My engine was running. We planted 6 rows of tomatoes that day. When we were done, I put my hands on my thighs, pushed through my heels, and I stood up. I stood up under the blue sky, on my own 2 legs, in my own backyard. Now, I want to talk to you. If you are sitting in that chair right now, rubbing your knee, telling yourself it's too late, I was you. If you are taking pills hoping they will fix a mechanical problem, I was you. If you are afraid to get on the floor because you don't think you can get back up, I was exactly you. But you are not done yet. Here is what I want you to do. First, stop resting. Motion is lotion. Resting is rusting. Second, check your engine. Ask your doctor or a physical therapist to check your hips, not just your knees. Third, start the movement. Quad sets, straight leg raises, clamshells, sit to stands. You can do them while you watch TV. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a grandmother who wanted to plant tomatoes with her grandson again. But I'm telling you, the body is a miracle. It wants to heal. You just have to give it the right instructions.